Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast. My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and today we have a special release from the Patreon, the Vault, the paid thing. And that's not because we didn't get around to recording an episode, it's because we wanted to spoil you. And wow, what a gift we're giving you now. So this doesn't have any medical lessons, it's silly and fun. And hey, drink plenty of water, 2 liters of water a day, and try to get some fiber in there. That'll regulate your bowel movements. See ya. Hey, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice for medical care, please contact your doctor. Hello. Welcome to the Jock podcast Patreon. We are so pumped. We're here with our producer Cameron.
Pumped. I'm pumped too. Pump it up.
As well as Digital in the House. So we are ready to bring you the latest and possibly the greatest. This is sort of a product that we've been working with. First of all, sort of the network that we work under, the corporation, Koala Cola, but also locally, because we believe in connecting the macro ideas with the micro. So the mayor has also been working with us on this, and we're very excited for this
on what?
Product.
I don't think you just sort of said the mayor's been working on us on this.
I'm introducing it.
Denied.
I'm trying to pump everyone up. They're going to be like, oh, wow, it's a micro and a macro idea. Yes.
Oh.
And it's what you've all been waiting for, and I still haven't said it yet, and it's coming up soon. It is the Mayor's Voyage board game.
The mayor has enlisted us to create his very own first board game.
Yes,
and we decided, hey, you know what? We could do this in the shadows. We could do this by ourselves. How about we record this so maybe future game makers will hear what it's like to create a smash hit game from the ground up.
Yeah.
So all we have right now is the Mayor's Voyage. That's it. That's all we know.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, I know that's all you have, but I do have all these materials laid out, sort of just like little things, you might consider them to be props at this point.
Sure, yeah.
Until we incorporate them into the game. So just a lot of options we have.
Yes.
So it's Mayor's Voyage. Now, most of what I could find whenever I went to the local store to buy things, most of what I could find is desert themed. So we'll have to be incorporating that into this, like obviously the Mayor's Voyage does have sort of a nautical feel to it.
Yeah.
And so, but we are going to bring in, we're just going to have to find a way to incorporate the desert stuff.
Yes.
So
you're saying because the mayor, are we allowed to talk about how much he's invested in the sand market? And so he's trying to like kind of boost that.
He's trying to buy up all the sand. Like that's his end goal, right?
It seems like that. Can we incorporate that into the game, or are we supposed to keep that secret?
I'd say let's do it. If we do it this way, I feel like getting ahead of it, because the public's going to find out. If we get ahead of it now, then we'll be set. So,
all right. So the ultimate goal of this board game, the Mayor's Voyage, is going to be acquire as much sand as possible.
Yes, and you might be saying to yourself, well, there are man-made beaches out there that incorporate, they bring in the sand, like Barcelona famously has a lot of sand brought in to make their beaches so nice.
Yeah.
The mayor plans to make every place the perfect beach. That's part of the idea. And that's part of what
a noble dream and goal that is, isn't it, Dr. London?
Yes. Well, because we all want a beachside hotel. We all want a beachside retreat. And this Mayor's Voyage is kind of sailing us towards, we want everywhere we go to be a sailing trip to the beach.
Yes.
That's sort of the feel that we're going for. So with that in mind, let's look at, so our characters are, I guess, avatars, is that what you call them? The characters that you play?
Well, mine is a marshmallow. Is that, do you want me to say it's an avatar? It's not blue. It doesn't have dreadlocks. It doesn't have like magic oil or anything like that.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, those were the the 3 qualifications that I said it had to have.
You don't think that that's going to be like a copyright issue incorporating so much Avatar stuff into this game?
I just didn't think it would come up. Like, do they notice that stuff?
I don't know. I don't really follow the whole like Disney corporation. Maybe they're really cool with like fan stuff. But just look at the description. Make sure you have an avatar. Make sure it's blue. Make sure it has dreadlocks. Make sure it has sex by like tying the dreadlocks together. And make sure there's space, like magical space oil or whatever.
Yeah. And it also says there, let's see, also, if you want to throw in Avatar The Last Airbender references, do that too. So it seems like he's looking for copyright issues, really.
Yeah, I feel like now we're combining maybe Disney and Viacom, I think. I mean, that is a mistake. It's a mistake. Well, let's not do it.
What do you mean? That's literally most of the instructions we have. I don't know how to dodge that with what we have.
But I want to use my marshmallow.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna. Okay.
Can we paint my marshmallow blue? Is that enough? Let's do blue marshmallows as the game pieces.
Yeah. All of them are gonna be blue. That's good. So
okay. Everyone's game piece is painted blue.
Everyone's okay. So the game pieces, like your game set, comes with a bucket of paint. Blue paint.
Yes, you're gonna have to paint your own marshmallows. Yes.
Yeah. And ideally, and this is for advanced players maybe, but you're gonna have to glue some string to their heads so that they can have hair sex. That's pretty important.
And it's like it's like Warhammer, right? You gotta like paint your own little figurine guys and stuff. It's just like that.
Yes. And so for all of you who watched that interview with Henry Cavill, yes, Henry Cavill is super into Warhammer and painting them. You can be just like the guy who played Superman or The Witcher. Yes. Very. So it's mainstream now.
Stiff, lifeless performances just like him.
Yes. All by playing this game. So let's get to painting. And so for me,
but let's so we've got the game pieces, we got this figured out, but like let's maybe think of some of our favorite games and incorporate some of those elements into this mix.
Okay.
So like for example, I love hopscotch. Now I know that's not a board game, but it's a game.
You've done it on boards before. Yeah.
You can do it on any board you want.
Yes. So how are you going to incorporate that? Or do you want me to, because
I was thinking maybe if we could, so in this, I always hate like on Monopoly or whatever that, let's say I'm the little car guy. Well, the car is having so much fun driving around.
That is really fun.
The board, I don't get to drive around the board. Why not?
I noticed that.
So instead of my little marshmallow guy having all the fun going on this voyage, how about every turn that we make, just like hopscotch, you get on the table, on the board, and you like physically hop on it as if you were walking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
so you're walking in place, but you're doing it hopscotch style, so 1 foot at a time, and that's how you actually move your marshmallow pieces.
Wow. Yes. What? And to keep
it's like VR, Dr. London. It's like VR.
It is a lot like VR. One thing that you'll want to incorporate, one strategy is you're going to want to keep that applying coats of paint so that the pieces don't fly off too far or whatever. They only move as much as you want them to move, which is just a little bit. So you'll have wet paint. It's a little like Warhammer, except every game and throughout the game, you got to keep reapplying paint.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know it goes without saying for us because we've been working on, but that's just for the listeners. That's how it goes. So we incorporate hopscotch, of course. Now, one game that I like to incorporate is Mousetrap. Have I played Mousetrap in the last couple decades? No. Do I remember how it's played? Not necessarily, but I remember there's a trap at the end. I remember there's a trap that comes down. So,
and I think it traps a mouse.
I'm not positive on, but yeah, there's at least a trap for a mouse. So let's assume that there is a mouse involved. So this board game comes with a lot of mouse traps, just the kind that, well, they're rat traps really. They're pretty big. And so you're gonna want to just set these all around the board and amongst like on the board as well. And so if you reach into the wrong place or if you hopscotch wrong, and of course you have to play this game barefoot. If you hopscotch wrong, then the mousetrap is gonna get you. So that's how we play Mousetrap and how we incorporate that game to make the ultimate game.
And you might be wondering, okay, well, can I just play with shoes on? You can't, because we are really trying to be considerate of COVID safety.
Mm-hmm.
And your shoes, because they're stepping outside, that has a ton of outside germs on it.
Yes.
Your bare feet, though, are going to be perfectly clean.
Mm-hmm.
We will,
as a rule.
You will be eating the marshmallows at the end of this game. And so, if would you rather have a marshmallow that's been stepped on by a shoe or by someone's clean bare foot?
Yeah, and that's a principle in medicine that the feet are the cleanest part of the body. People say like, oh, the human mouth is, or the human intestines are, what's the saying? Oh yeah, the dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's intestines. I think that's the saying. Similarly, the feet are the cleanest part of the human body. Anyway.
Because in the shower, every part you clean, all that water hits the feet.
Yeah, soap,
no matter where.
shampoo,
no matter where you're washing on your body, it's going to run down your body onto your feet.
And clean your
feet.
Cleanest. Yes. And it scrubs it off with the friction. Oh, it's so good. So, bare feet game, of course. It's a board game. And you have the paint job and you have the mouse traps. Okay.
Yes.
Now the next part, now we bring in the sand. Okay. So, You walk on, so we have the bucket of paint, and you will also have several buckets of sand. And for that, you're going to be holding the sand bucket above your head while you walk. Okay? And
while you walk on the board?
On the board, yes.
Okay.
Hopping, and you can't spill. You can't spill.
No. Oh, yeah, you lose a point.
Yeah, because once again, we're trying to make beaches, but only in the allotted zones, because you want to have a place for the boat to sail.
Yes.
Through. So you have to walk over to the sand, to the beach area. And of course, you might say to yourself, well, if you're walking over the place where there's water, then that you're supposed to be swimming. Incorrect. There's a bridge. So, I'm sorry, you can't see the board, but there's a bridge there. So you walk, you hop across, you pour the sand, and then, and if I'm trying to remember from the scope of the game, but I do believe that's when you trigger the bonus round. The first bonus round.
Yeah, the first time someone gets their sand to the designated sand beach zone
through the mouse traps.
The bonus round is triggered, and the bonus round is Yahtzee.
Yes, just Yahtzee. Yeah.
It's just Yahtzee. It's the same rules. You have to do a full game of Yahtzee from start to finish. And then whoever wins that gets an extra point. And whoever loses that loses a point.
Now, one thing to remember, though, you have to play whoever's turn it is, who has just done the stepping over, once again, mouse traps, sand over their head, paint.
Yeah.
Using paint to try to move their pieces the correct direction and correct amount of spaces forward. They are in that position, standing on the board throughout the Yahtzee game to roll the dice, to do whatever, like that's all part of it. So
yes,
just bear that in mind. That's part of the challenge, okay, of what this game is.
Okay, so now after the bonus round, I mean, what should we add? So is that the end of round one after the first person gets their sand to the beach?
Yes, I believe so. So that person won that round, but we should have a caveat there. What about if they stepped on a mouse trap or, the rat traps, essentially?
Oh, yeah. So I would say each mouse trap that's on their foot they lose a point.
Okay. Okay.
Is that harsh? You think that's too harsh?
Yeah, it just, because each point does, like that signifies, because the points carry over per game, right? And so it's a rollover situation.
You keep sort of a tab forever. You sort of just continuously play with your same score. Yeah,
and also if you spill sand...
it's like your credit score, honestly.
Yeah. And it will...
follows you. Yeah.
Ideally,
it will affect what apartments you can rent and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and the mayor's ultimate plan would be, we talk about the sort of beachfront condos and stuff. Like this is working towards your credit score for that.
Yes.
That the points will be there to sort of decide who gets to live where. and sort of your socioeconomic status in the future.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that's if you step on the mousetrap, you can lose a point.
Wait, have we decided how does the player move? Like, I know they're physically doing hopscotch, but how do you decide how many scotches they're hopping? I should say.
Oh, good point. In all of our
beginning
planning
of their turn,
because we know how they're going to move their pieces, which is via the hopscotching and the paint. But how many they're supposed to move?
We don't know how many.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to use dice because we're already doing that for the Yahtzee
the Yahtzee
stuff.
thing, and so they're all used up. Yeah.
Once you use them, you throw them away. Let's see. What about if they? Okay, I think I got it. They have to call their ex, and
no.
And so the amount of rings that they get, ring, ring, ring. That's how many spaces they move. And if they get one ring and then they pick up, if they pick up quickly, then I guess also how many minutes they're on the phone with the ex.
Okay. So it's both. It's both the rings and minutes on the phone.
Cool, because here's the thing.
Combine those two numbers.
Yeah, because if it's a low amount of rings, you can save it. You can still move further if you keep your conversation with your ex going.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, so what? Hey, what's been happening with you? No, it's been super busy with me. And you try to keep it going.
And of course, you have to do that every time it's your turn in this round. And you've got to do like 100 steps, 100 hopscotches,
and it's your most recent
the
ex. It's the same person. Yes. You can't be like, this is my other ex.
You're going to be calling them a dozen times. So even if you have a really heartfelt conversation at the beginning, it gets harder and harder each time because 9-10 times they're like, I don't understand. We just talked for so long. What do you want me to say? And that's the challenge, to keep them on the phone for even longer.
Yeah. And it's so good for, sort of just as a side thing. The mayor's really into maintaining relationships, no matter how sort of poisonous or toxic they may have seemed. If you're forced to talk, it's the idea of you put two people in a room to solve their differences, they're going to figure something out.
And I've heard that the mayor has stayed in contact with and is on good terms with every mistress he's ever had.
I had not heard this.
And that just shows the kind of character he has, the kind of good person he is, who cares about relationships.
Okay, so anyway, so that's instead of dice.
That's the first round, right? So you call your ex, you do this back and forth until you get to 100 steps or hopscotches. Then you've got the sand on your head and you dump it out. And that's
I do want to clarify that point. Just to roll through it so we don't brush past it. Each person will call their ex, move however many steps corresponding to the number of rings, and time spent on the phone by minutes. They pass, so the next person picks up their phone, makes the calls. All of that for whoever starts up or finishes the first round. First one to rack up 100 either rings or minutes spoken to their ex. And then that finishes the first round.
That's whoever gets to that wins the first round.
Yes.
Of course, if they have any mousetraps attached to them, they will be deducted points for each of them's mousetraps.
If they drop sand, also points.
They lose points. Yeah.
And all the while, they also have to be, the way they walk has to move their pieces forward in the right direction with the paint on them. And that's...
Yeah, you are journeying from one side of the board to the other.
Yes. Because you're hopscotching, but once again, you have to hopscotch in such a way that it is moving your pieces forward.
Yes.
Correct direction, everything. Okay, just wanted to clarify all that. I think it's simple enough. So, round 2. So round 2, I guess, okay, last place has to be medic for the rat-trapped person, because someone's going to get trapped. Someone's going to step in. Someone's going to. But they can redeem some points. The last place person can redeem some points. Let's say they, their ex wouldn't talk to them.
Oh, no.
Yeah, or turn their phone off so that they, it goes straight to voicemail.
Oh no, and then they're getting 0 points because it's not ringing.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no. And so then it just becomes how many minutes can you leave a voicemail?
Yeah. Oh, well, also there's the whole thing of, how long they can leave a voicemail is critical in there too. But then there's also the game of, once you run out, they run out of rings, whatever. Anyway, yes. So they're slowed down, they're behind. They can play medic by going to, they're at this point, last place is allowed to leave the house to go find medical supplies for, it could just be a bruised foot. It could just be bruises.
Sure.
But
the point is the person last is getting a first aid kit and they're bringing it back.
Yes.
And then once he administers aid, then you're able to move on to the second round. And of course, his points are scored on how well he does at his sort of medical abilities.
Yeah. I'll say once again, the rat traps we're sending they're going to be pretty strong. Like, they're going to be stronger than the normal ones. Like, this would be horrific to do to a rat. This would, it wouldn't just, snap their spines. This would cleave them in two,
We tested it on a small dog.
Yeah. And we shouldn't have tested it.
That dog is not right anymore.
No.
You can tell that dog is messed up.
Well, depending on which side, once it can cleave a dog, I guess is what I should have said.
Yeah.
It's not just, I assume it can cleave a rat because we only tested it on a dog and the dog is halved now. Anyway, so, all that to say, the first aid kit probably will be necessary.
Yeah. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
But then everyone gets to vote on how many points you get as the medic, and then you move on to the second round, which, of course, is going to be, this is where we have to decide. So you've already laid in the plot line of this board game, you have already laid the sand out for your beach. So the beach is done.
Yes. At that point, yes.
So now maybe the next part is sort of like fancying up the beach, adding all the amenities and stuff to make it all beachy.
Also, I don't know if we've incorporated all the water. So, all the water for the beach.
Oh, okay. So then maybe round 2 is all about obtaining water.
Yeah. Obtaining the water, yeah. And so I should clarify here. It's a normal game board. It's, cardboard, whatever, like thicker kind of cardboard stuff. So you are going to have to sort of, the second round will be a lot of sort of fortifying around it and kind of building it into the kind of structure that can retain water. So, you're going to be sort of building a structure where water can flow in the middle and...
Yeah. It's like Cranium, where you have to morph things out of clay or whatever.
Yeah. So you're
building this sort of sand device that holds water.
Yeah. And your choice there will be, of course, salt or fresh water. And, we have, the whole card deck we're going to be making where it's, the bonuses, the pros and cons to each one. If you have fresh water, you're going to be more likely.
You're way too focused on these bonus cards. That's all you've been talking about since we started, even discussing this with the mayor.
Yeah, the bonus cards are great. So fresh water, you're going to have gators.
We haven't even incorporated them, but we haven't even decided what that means, fresh water or salt water, but you have been pushing these. You've been like, okay, but we'll have a specialty card for that.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, but if you have an armor card and a health card, that'll be really good for your extra bonus cards.
Which
we don't know what you're talking about. The board game team has no clue what you're talking about.
Okay, do you think? I thought it was the language issue, but you think it's because I'm talking about these cards? Okay.
Oh, because you don't know how to code? So it's like a language issue? They're all speaking in JavaScript and you,
numbers and letters. I don't follow. But, I told them, you got to get the bonus cards. You have the 3 power-ups to get to the crocodile. Was that not clear before? 3 swords, you add the energy card, and then you strike with a bonus.
But it's who are you striking? Why are you striking someone? Where is this striking going on?
Okay, so it was the Kellogg strike. That was the whole... Yeah.
Oh, so the symbolism.
No, it was direct. It's protesting the the poor working conditions that they people weren't paid a fair salary. That's what the bonus. Well, that's what those bonus cards are about. It's not every bonus card, obviously, but yes.
Yeah.
Whenever you get 3 swords, use the energy card, get the strike.
Okay.
Then you try to make a fundamental change in sort of the living wage situation for workers.
Okay, but half of these cards are the dog catcher card, and there's not even a description on what that means or.
Well, that's self-explanatory. I
assume that you have to catch a dog, but we haven't added a dog element to this game.
No, you have to add a dog catch. There's a dog catcher. That's the character.
It's just I think you're getting maybe too.
It's like the Hamburglar.
The lore. Yeah,
okay.
And that's another thing is this goes back to the Avatar stuff. I don't think you can just use a depiction of the Hamburglar. Like, I don't think you can put just the Hamburglar on a card, and call him the dog catcher, and not get sued for that.
Well, there's a dog taped onto it, like a little, not a real dog anymore. That didn't work in the cards when I first tried it. Now it is a little bit of dog fur, but not the whole dog. Okay, so you think the dog catcher's out? You think that's a bad idea? You think that my work is just stupid? I don't know what to. Fine. How about you pick round 2? Whatever. Freshwater, saltwater doesn't matter. I guess not.
Well, I just want to know what makes it matter. That's all.
Okay, so I'm going to try to take it very slow for you.
Oh no. Okay, let's not do this then.
Okay, so
if it's going to be really slow,
as I was saying, you're going to have gators. You're always going to have gators if it's freshwater. That's part of it. Now, if it's saltwater, will you definitely not have gators? No, not necessarily. There are saltwater gators. That happens.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Yeah. Hey, you might think, saltwater, are you going to have sharks? Please let me finish. Please.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Saltwater, you're going to have sharks, of course.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean you're not going to have sharks in freshwater? No. Have you ever heard of a bull shark? They can go in freshwater sometimes. Yeah, okay. It depends. So this is all a part of sort of the lore and the culture. You learn, like, there's no hard and fast rules necessarily. Okay, what were you trying to say before I was saying
what do the like alligators and crocodiles do? Do they make you lose points?
Well, if you infuriate them enough, like they're so whenever you set up
emotions
your beach,
in this game,
as all animals do. I
guess that's a ridiculous question. I apologize.
Thank you. I accept that. So, and forgive it. Yes, but we got the beach set up, and you're gonna have to deal with wildlife. That's part of this. You live in a. It's not a closed ecosystem.
But we need to connect these dots here.
Okay.
Right?
I thought it was so clear. Okay.
I think the first part of this round needs to be getting the water to the location, right?
Yes. So the first question is, do we need fresh water or salt water? Because that's
that is valid. That is valid. So the person does have to decide what type of water it is first. That they go and get that water either from the sink or from the ocean or wherever they get it from, because we can't include all that water. I think that's illegal.
No, that's. I mean, if you buy the deluxe set, you'll get some water, or you'll at least get salt with it. I'm still working that out. Cards on the table. I'm still working that out. But so there will be a matter of obtaining the water for it, and once again, as I said, building a structure that will contain it.
You bring it back to the table. You hopscotch back onto the table because you're going to go the same path to your sand location.
Yeah.
Then you get there with your chosen water and you pour it into your structure. Is that about right?
Yeah, I feel like. I mean, I just to bear in mind,
there's not enough cards. Is that what you're about to say? There's not enough bonus cards and
I'm assuming the bonus cards are going to be involved, but I'm saying you should be aware that whether you pick salt water or fresh water will make a huge difference later in the game.
Okay, so what if we make a instructional video? Do you remember that? The like board game where you watched movie clips or whatever? Seen It?
No,
I think it was Seen It.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, I have already recorded a lot of videos for this.
Okay, perfect. So then maybe there's a whole sort of educational section on why you should choose saltwater or freshwater.
Yeah, I mean, it's educational in the sense of what applies here.
To the game, yeah, because it has nothing, it does not apply. It's actually the exact opposite of what real life is like.
Yeah, like whenever I was talking about the sharks, for example, I do switch it for the game. Yeah. Just to because I don't want people to bring in prior knowledge to cheat.
Yes, oh, so many cheaters.
Yeah, I can't stand it. So yeah, it's going to be, it's going to work like that. So they choose their water type. That's very important.
Yes.
I cannot emphasize enough how later on in the game this could be win or lose.
You have emphasized it. I mean, just an excruciating amount at this point.
Okay. So I'm getting the hint that I should move on from that. Okay.
Yes.
Well, do you want to hear more? I don't mean to be rude. No, I definitely don't want to hear more about the differences between saltwater and freshwater. But it's just, again, so how are they deciding how many steps to move, Dr. London? This is the big question again.
Yeah, okay. So the X is done here. Now, okay, let's go with a similar trend. Your crush. You have to call up your crush.
Oh.
And by the way, if you don't have her number yet, that will be a problem. And it will have to go back to the last crush whose number you have, which might be your ex.
Might end up being your ex, yeah.
Or
probably so.
Yeah, it could be a crush. It could be a newer crush. If you're, this just depends on. This shows individuality in the game. This shows your sort of approach to the game. So,
bucket of water, your choice. Mm-hmm. And the choice is very important in terms of what wildlife the water is going to attract. Then you're basically repeating the first round. You're hopscotching with the water, but you're calling your crush, which might end up being your ex, and you're trying to reach out. Should we do 100 points or 200 points? Because it's the second round. Probably 200, right?
Yeah, let's double it at least. Because, well, for one thing, whoever won that first round might be reconnecting at that point. Like, they might want more time on the phone with their ex if it happens to also be their crush.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't be doing that until round 3. We'll get to the dinner portion later.
Right. Okay. So, they have the water, once again, cannot spill, and...
Cannot spill.
I should also say, sorry, during this part, instead of mousetraps, we do have scorpions. And so people might be, sort of negative. There's only one that's very poisonous that will be shipped to you.
Yes.
The rest they just hurt.
Yeah.
But scorpions will be there.
But I mean, of course, after you play the game once, you will have to acquire your own scorpions. And that's up to you. You can choose, make them all poisonous or none of them poisonous. That is up to you.
That is
part of the fun of this game, is how much you get to involve your own choices and your own life and your own preferences into this game.
But
it's sort of like you can customize it just how you want it,
So that first shipment of scorpions, you do have to. So yeah, after the first round, you do release them because you want to be humane about it, and so you do release them into. Depending on where we ship, we have maps laid out for which parks and which places to release them, so that it's sort of the most really funny results wherever you release them.
Mostly
people's
shoes, teachers' lunchbox.
Yes.
Granddad's reclining
dentures.
chair.
Yes.
And dentures.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to clarify that point, just so that no one's thinking like, oh, we're gonna kill the scorpions. No.
Yeah.
We're gonna release them into strategic places, and that's sort of the post-game fun from the first one. So
once you get to the end and you're able to pour the water into your container of sand,
which you have to get to 200
structure of sand.
Yeah. Move your character
200 steps
while painting your character pretty continuously throughout once again, because they have to be able to stick enough to stay on the board while you're hopscotching.
Yes. And of course, avoiding the scorpions, because again, every sting from a scorpion is the loss of a point.
Yes. And these scorpions are going to be more aggressive, more riled up, because you're shaking the table, whatever you're walking on for this.
Now I must.
Yes. Oh. No, sorry, go on.
I'm assuming, that sort of wraps up round 2. But I assume your choice on type of water I assume this is where we learn how many crocodiles were attracted to your beach, and that's going to affect round 3, right?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
So the person in last place for round 2, they start to bring out the creatures. So it's baby alligators baby crocodiles, because alligators are less aggressive. So they bring out the crocodiles, and these are baby crocodiles, so they will bite you and they will hurt, but they're also going to fit in the game. That's important.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of I think I referred to them as gators earlier, but it is crocs. And let's see, that was for the fresh.
I don't know if you're being clear. You're talking about actual baby crocs that come with the game. This is what the person who got in last place in round 2, they've got to go get the physical crocs.
Yes, they have to get the animals and bring them in.
The baby crocs, yes.
Because they lost, they're the animal handlers for that round, and so and no gloves allowed. No extra toys.
No, that would be cheating. Yeah,
that's cheating. So you have to bring these in, and let's see, if you choose, and this is the part where
well, it has to be different every time, because otherwise the next time you would just choose the better one, freshwater or saltwater. Well, so it needs to almost be like a flip of a coin that decides which gets more crocs.
Well, here's the thing, though. It might be easier in this part, but later on, it's going to change. Like, if you don't want to deal with a lot of crocs now, sure. But later on, you're going to wish you had more crocs. You're going to wish you had a lot more. Like, just
I think that's fine with what I had just said. I don't think that contradicts it at all.
Okay, maybe I misheard. Okay, so in any case, so freshwater, you are, as we said, it's opposite. So sharks.
Just to determine which one is worse this time around, we have to have some sort of mechanism, like a coin flip.
Oh, for this round. Sorry, I was thinking of the full game. I guess you could, but once again, it's gonna whoever has that. Yes, coin flip. They don't get to decide. That's good. I'm sorry. I'm overcomplicating it. Yes, coin flip to decide, do they get salt or fresh water? That's better.
No.
I disagree.
They choose salt or fresh. They choose that at the beginning of round 2, but there has to be some sort of mechanism of which choice is worse. Otherwise, it's either the exact same choice every single time, and so you know which one is better going into it.
It should, because the way that I have it planned out, laid out, one is gonna be so bad to start.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be an advantage later to win the game.
Okay. Oh, okay. So then do they know that up front? Is that part of the instructional video that they watch? Yeah,
but it's a long video. Like, I don't know if, and there's also like a written quiz, like a quiz portion. It's pretty extensive. Like the prep work, it's, with these awesome games, there is a lot of prep work involved. And the video part is like a full semester of
you've got to get a certain amount of credits.
Yeah, and credits don't transfer. This is
unfortunate. Not from other board games.
Yeah,
you
graduate
can't transfer your credits from Ticket to Ride into this game.
No, well, I was gonna say like there are. I spoke too soon. Some credits from sort of a graduate level university can transfer, but you do have to transfer schools to this board game school. And
of course.
And it's not accredited yet, but we're getting there. It's
we're thinking by 2024 we should be beginning the conversations of getting it accredited.
Yeah, I'm very scared to approach them right now, but I'm hoping by then I'll be brave enough.
By 2024 we will finally have the bravery and courage to go and try to get us accredited.
Yes.
But in any case, okay, so depending on which one you chose, decide
no
whether
spoilers.
You have a lot of alligator or crocodiles or few crocodiles. Are these crocodiles replacing the position of the scorpions from the previous round, where they're kind of around the board and they're going to bite you?
This is the point where I don't want to mess with the natural ecology. So we're going to bring in, and once again, depending on which one they got, saltwater or freshwater, they're either going to have a lot of sharks or a lot of crocs. So that's going to be in play. And as we said, it's going to be opposite. So I don't know that they'll do well in the type of water that we got, because they are going to have to just survive. And Anyway, but so actually they're natural sustenance.
You're saying like there's no game system or rules at this point. It's just let the animals do what they do, and that's what determines it.
Determines how the scorpions go. Yeah. They're left over from the round. Like they're just around. Sure.
I guess it just determines what the sharks and alligators are doing or how many there are. I guess I just still don't understand. This is my fault. I don't fully understand the ecological aspect of the importance of saltwater versus freshwater.
Oh,
that's my own ignorance. I haven't watched the video.
Yeah, well, we're only in the second round. I mean,
well, we're wrapped up with the second round now.
Yeah. Okay. So they got the water to it. And then the person in last place who spent the least amount of time or voicemail or rings, whatever, with their crush, they have to, bring up,
go get the baby crocs and the baby sharks,
or the baby sharks.
The baby sharks.
Yes, it's one or the other, depending on salt or freshwater, and it will be the opposite of what nature should, require. So there might.
But does every person get a choice?
No, it's whoever won the round gets to choose.
Oh, okay. Whoever won round 1 gets to choose.
No, sorry, round 2. Whoever won round 2 got the water.
You said they had made that choice at the beginning of round 2 because that's the water they're carrying.
Everyone should have made the choice, yes. But
that was what I just asked.
Okay, sorry. I'm saying. I mean, I guess yes. They did tactically make the choice in round 1, but the choice isn't like officially done until
it's not
the end
concrete.
Of round 2.
The choice doesn't really count until the end of round 2.
No, well, because if you lose, you don't even get the choice at all. Like if you lose round 1, so like that's why I'm
So then, what water is in the bucket?
It depends. It's okay. Whoever.
It's the water they chose in round 1. It has to be,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, you don't know who's going to win round 1. You don't know who's going to win round 2. So to say they made the choice from the beginning, it's like, sure, I guess technically they made the choice, but like everything was kind of up in the air until round 2 finished. And someone had actually gotten there with their choice of water. So does that make sense? I feel like I've been so clear.
I guess it makes sense. It's just, I feel like it's gone back and forth a couple times now in terms of when they're choosing it, whether or not they have a choice, whether or not that choice actually affects the choice of animal.
I guess, so one thing I should have clarified is that, yes, they are carrying, in the first round, they are carrying the sand on their heads, but they're also kind of carrying with their leg the bucket of water, and they're not allowed to spill either one.
They're carrying the bucket of water too in the first round?
Well, how else are they going to get the water across?
I thought that was round 2, was carrying the water across.
Yeah, well, that's when it is most important.
Oh, so they carry it across on both rounds, but it's more important the second round.
Well, it's just like you don't use it in the first round. That's more what I mean. Like, I feel like...
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to ask yourself, how is that water getting to round 2 at all? They aren't allowed to go back.
Back to the beginning of the board, which is the other side of the table.
Yeah. Like, I admit that part I was not clear enough about. Yes, they have it dangling over one, held up by a leg.
Okay.
I mean,
so then,
I'm sorry.
Again,
I assume by the leg. You can play however you want, but that's
so
what
now,
okay.
When they choose the type of water, now it's at the very beginning of the game. It has changed a third time when they're choosing their type of water.
I'm sorry. It's been so clear in my mind.
Now it's before the game has started. They have to have their water choice.
I'm sorry I didn't clarify this earlier. I thought it was all sort of self-explanatory. I play the game so much. So
I know, which is so difficult because we have not invented this game yet.
Yeah. No, I've gone quite a few rounds and it's been awesome.
Like we are inventing it right now, and then you have trophies for this game already.
Yeah, well, I've won a few competitions, sure, but that's
You said you're going to state.
Yeah, well, regionals and then state. Yeah.
No, this is my confusion. It's And now I'm wondering if you're just choosing water literally every single round, and if maybe that should just be the game, is just choosing water types.
That would make a lot of the game would not make sense if you just did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
So
that seems to be your favorite part. Now it's involved. Now every single round is basically based on the type of water you choose.
Well, every choice you make will affect the later rounds. If you don't get sand, to the other side.
Oh, it's like Fable. Remember Fable, the video game? It's just like Fable. Your choices matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess that's a spoiler for round 3. Do you put on the horns or not? Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you become evil or not?
Well, you didn't mention the horns card. It doesn't make sense unless you describe that first, though.
Yeah. Well, the horn card, so you get you get 3 crosses and a statesman. And so you have I say you get those. If you get the 3 crosses and a statesman, then you get
it's a 1 in 100,000 chance. The stack of cards is gigantic.
Yeah. And most of them are just like, business cards, toll-free numbers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they won't be that useful for things out like things.
Yeah, part of like maybe like a frozen pizza box.
Yeah. A lot of
like ripped into a card shape. Yeah.
A lot of cutouts, and just like parts of pictures that I thought were cool that I cut close to the same shape. Some leaves, the like pretty leaves that I found. Pressed flowers. Let's see what else. Bark.
Sausage links.
Well, yeah, it's pressed sausage links. Yeah.
Yeah.
A panini. There was a panini.
Your friend's phone number.
Not to be confused with X's. I see you cheaters out there. No using that number. Okay.
No. Yeah, you can't use a friend.
Okay, but so round 3, if you get the 3 crosses and a statesman, then you have the option. Am I evil now? And one of the things that I'll admit, this is the part of the game where I am going to need some help because I haven't, like you said, I'm going to state, but I haven't figured out this part. So you're supposed to, once you don the horns, you should be able to control all of the creatures in the water. The land creatures are still, the scorpions are pretty doing their own thing. I don't know that those are possible to control, but with the horns, you're supposed to be able to control the water
either
creatures.
The crocs or the
sharks. Yeah.
The sharks or the mousetraps. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, sorry, I forgot the mousetraps are a huge part of round 3.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you have any ideas for that part, the ability to control wildlife. And also mousetraps.
Well, so the ability to control wildlife, I was just thinking if you could use sort of a marionette puppet situation, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a little cross wooden plank thingy that has all the strings that's attached to all the sharks. So you're just sort of flipping them around and swirling them around and doing tricks and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I would say that would be a great way. Who is doing this though? Is it me?
Well, I guess that was one of my questions about the game. Like, do you want to show up to the house and do that?
For every person who plays?
Not for every, just for each. I guess it would be for every person.
For every game, I should say.
Yeah, because is it... Okay,
do I have to pay for travel expenses, or is that going to be built into the game?
It depends on how much we charge for the subscription, honestly, because we can up the cost.
If the family who's going to play the game is willing to cover my travel expenses, then yes. But if I'm having to do it, then we'd have to find something else.
We'd have to make it part of the subscription price, but like that's a few $100 extra per month. So
yeah, and they're already paying like $35,000. So like, what difference does it make?
Yeah, at that point,
a couple $100. Yeah,
they're already going to be sunk. Yeah, like debt wise, they're going to have to get a second mortgage. Yeah. So. So 3rd round starts, and I'm sorry, I feel like I have taken this over, but like I swear I need your input.
No, it sounds like I thought that we were creating this game, but you have already like made like 90% of it. Unfortunately, most of it is based on this sort of backwards thinking of choosing freshwater over saltwater.
Well, How is that backwards? I don't.
Oh no, just that when we had started this conversation, it was a specific part of the game. Now it is at the very beginning of the game. You are constantly carrying this water.
Once again, I think I just communicated it poorly. It has always been.
It has always been based around saltwater and freshwater. And so what happens next?
So this is round 3.
So I'm guessing the person who won round 2 gets to choose if they're evil or good or not.
I'm trying to remember from my games. Honestly, we drink a lot while playing this game.
Sure, yeah.
I by this part in the game, I don't remember that much.
Oh no.
So, no, I mean it's fine because
you're drinking the paint, the blue paint that comes with the game.
Yeah, well, it's there,
Yeah,
and
it's blue.
Yeah,
which all your favorite drinks are blue.
Yeah, it's not my favorite color, but it is my favorite color drink.
Yes.
So, well, like if there's not a green drink available, then it's blue. So, yeah.
Second favorite, easy.
Yeah, it is my favorite. Anyway, I'm sorry to get into all my favorite stuff, but yes. So, would it be at the end of the 3rd round that they decide whether they're good or evil?
Don't they decide this at the beginning of the 3rd round? You had said.
I don't think that we had clarified. I can't be sure, but I don't think we clarified. I know round 2 we end with adding the animals.
Yes,
I think yes. Because end of round 1 was sand.
The loser of round 2 is the animal wrangler. They go and get the animals, and then they're the ones controlling it with the marionette puppet for the rest of the game. They're basically functionally out of the game. They're just the marionette guy at this point.
Okay, so I'm sorry, just to bring it back. I thought you were going to be the marionette guy, but having the loser do it sounds also maybe more economically feasible.
So I guess it just depends on the subscription plan.
Yeah. Okay.
If they go with the subscription plan that involves me, then I do it. If not, then whoever was last in round 2 is eliminated and they become the marionette guy.
Yeah, and they control. Yes. And so that's giving a bit of an advantage to the last place. They control the wildlife that they've recruited. It's been their hands physically touching them. They've created a bond. And so whoever's in last place has a real chance to catch up based on how well they train the animals. So round 3, maybe and I'm just brainstorming here because once again, I do not remember how this goes. Well, first I guess we had to figure out how they choose how many steps they take.
I mean, yeah, like let's stick with what works. I would say maybe, so you're calling your ex, you're calling your crush. I would say maybe you call who you think a future crush is going to be. And so it can't be someone you've ever met. It has to be someone that maybe you've seen on the side of the road, or maybe you've seen in your office at work or at school, but you've never spoken to them. You need to track down their phone number and then start calling them a bunch.
Okay, see, part of it is just the research aspect. You're going to have to track them down.
Huge part of the game, yes.
Yeah. So you'll have to do the research. You'll have to track them down. And like, I don't... Yeah, that'll work. I was going to say just, because you are still, for all of this part of the game, for that round, you are on the table, barefoot, a lot of animals, hopscotching, animals writhing within the little, hopefully not too little. Hopefully you put enough water in that they have room to swim. But anyways, and you're very near all of that, and also the scorpions are wherever they are. So great. So you do the research, and you call this person that could potentially be a crush, could just be a stranger, whatever. It has to be a stranger. It cannot be someone that you've ever spoken to in any way. Yes. It has to be someone that you might have a crush in the future, you think. Yeah, if you ran into them, yeah. It's a hypothetical crush, I guess. So you call your hypothetical crush, same rules. So this is where things sort of do get tricky, because if you are hung up on your ex and you know that the only person you're going to have a crush on in the future is your ex again, that you do have to call them. So it's really, it puts you at a disadvantage if you're hung up on your ex. So that you really need to work on you personally before you start this game, I would say. Yeah. And that's because otherwise you're going to be calling your ex back for a third round another, dozen times or so.
And I mean, I feel like at a certain point, she's either going to block your number or get a restraining order or something.
Yeah.
So if you work out your feelings before starting this game so that you can just have a clear head and that you're not calling your ex, instead you're calling a stranger that you saw on the street once.
And that you might fall in love
preferable.
with. Yeah. So you call up either your ex that you're hung up on or this new stranger that you might fall in love with. And same rules, number of rings plus number of minutes you can keep them on the phone. And so this round, you just have to get to 600. You have to move 600 spaces, and then you get to decide whether you are good or evil. And
now, are you carrying something during this time? Because you've already dumped the water, right?
And the sand and the water, yeah. So, at this point, I don't know.
Oh,
what do you think?
What do you need on a beach besides beach and water, Dr. London?
A parasol.
A parasol.
Yes, to keep that shade. So
you're carrying. I was just gonna say beach equipment in general. Like I think maybe having two beach chairs under both of your arms, a parasol, maybe like a beach ball as well. And so you're carrying like 10 different beach items.
Yeah, and yeah,
like a cooler with beer. Yeah.
And so you're hopscotching. Once again, scorpions are still in play. Rat traps, whatever's left, is still in play. The crocs or sharks are very much still in play as well. So remember, deductions for every bite, and the deductions increase in this round. That's 40 points lost for every bite or cleave or sting, any of that. That's 40 points gone. So you're on the phone with your.
Every point you've ever lost previously in the game, it's 40 points per point.
Yes.
So you take whatever score you had, and now it's times by 40.
Yeah. And once again, it's and to get to 600, if you spent 600 minutes on the phone with the ex that you're really hung up on, you gotta, and you get stung. Well, you gotta take another call. So and then at the end of that round, of course, whoever wins gets to choose good or evil. If they're good, then I think they get to put on socks. Once again, very hazy for me.
Yeah.
And then,
their feet are probably wet and cold from the splashing water.
Yeah. And paint potentially, and also maybe bites and stings and severed toes. And so they
that'll make their feet so cold having severed toes. They'll need those socks so bad. Chilly feet with their severed toes.
That's if they choose the good option. If they choose the evil option, they put on the horns.
Oh no.
Yeah. And once again, I like at this point in the game, whenever I've played it, I have just been
too blacked out.
Yeah. Like I don't remember. Do we want to like? I feel like this is as far as I go. And I feel like usually we are told to leave the premises by the time I get to this point, because I usually go to one of those coffee shops with the board games there to play this.
Oh
yeah.
And you're playing it on someone else's board game. It's like it's like Settlers of Catan, and you're just sort of using their board for this. You're like, no, this is how you play.
Yeah. I stopped and I'm like,
let me see that. This is how you play.
This is how. Yeah. And I'll just make the rounds on coffee shops on a given day and do that. So, which is kind of what this game is designed for. It's that kind of climate, that kind of environment, that vibe. So, I'm trying to think. I feel like that's really all you need to have for the game, and then the rest kind of finishes on its own. Do you have any other?
Oh, okay. So you just
like the cards. The cards definitely come in.
You choose socks or the horn, and then you just let it solve itself who wins. That's
well, because I mean, once again, the cards that I mentioned earlier are so important. The choice between salt and freshwater are so important.
Yes. Okay.
But I don't remember how. Like now that I think through, I know that it affected everything a lot later.
So we just need an algorithm, right? We just need at the end of it. So the person who got to the end chooses good or evil, and then all of your points and everything that happened and all your cards is run through this algorithm that I guess DJ Dillon will invent, because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And then that just tells you who won.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's as right as I know. I think whenever I played it, usually what happens is the guy, like the manager of the coffee shop, will be like, hey, it's really late. You caused a lot of commotion.
Sure, yeah.
I hand him the stuff and be like, who won? And then he'll point at someone.
He's helping escort you into the back of a police car at this point, usually.
Yes. Yeah, but he tells me who won. Like he's like, whatever, that guy, or the police officer will. Someone will at the end of the night.
So we just need to get the coffee shop guy to do this algorithm then.
Well, I don't know what algorithm he used, so I guess you'd have to ask him or ask the police officer. I know I won.
Or maybe this can be a subscription thing again, where he travels with me to these people's houses.
Yeah.
So he's always there and can tell you who won at the end of the game.
Yeah. And I guess the other note to make there is that we should just send them a handle of vodka, just to make the rounds go exactly like how they go for me.
Oh, well, I thought we said did we specify that? Yeah, you have to be like blackout drunk when you start this game.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say blackout drunk because you want to remember the beginning.
7 hours into drinking.
Yes. You've done day drinking, and then at night you say, let's start a board game.
Yes. This really fun board game.
Yeah.
That is also really active and will really bond us closer together.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we really nailed it. Wow. Okay.
I feel like the only thing that I think is missing is that there's no ribbon cutting segment, and this is supposed to be for the mayor, and that is his favorite thing in the world, is doing a ribbon cutting for the opening of something.
Yeah, that is his favorite deal. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to schedule it? Because I think that needs
to be incorporated into the game.
Oh, into the game itself. Okay, yeah. So the beginning, you think, or the beginning?
I think maybe before each round there should be someone who is assigned the position of the mayor, and they wear a top hat like the mayor does.
Yeah, he says it's time for Mayor's Voyage. And
at the beginning of each round, he cuts the ribbon. But of course, once you've already cut a ribbon, then it's cut. You can't do that anymore. So I would say maybe at the next round, maybe cut one of the crocs or sharks. And that's the ribbon. Just slice one of them
whatever
in
you
half.
have. I mean, you have to work with the supplies you have. It's like, sometimes you get a board game and like there's a piece missing, but you can make do by substituting whatever. Same with the ribbon cutting. You have to cut something, cut off part of something.
You could probably mush a lot of the marshmallows into like a long string type thing that you could cut.
Yeah. Easy. Yeah. So the mayor, you have to also make a speech. Whoever is the designated mayor has to make a speech. And,
yes.
And then, I think that's it.
They make a speech.
They cut the rhythm. Yeah. The ribbon. Okay. So,
so this is, I think ages 2 and up.
Yes.
And
the octogenarians we need to keep it no cap on the age, because we want those. I know that they're not our demographic anymore, but I do
want them just in case. Yeah.
I want just in case that it changes. So anyway, I think we got it. So anyway, that's Mayor's Voyage, our new board game in cooperation with Koala Cola Corporation. We're very excited about it. Anyway, thank you.
Stoked.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our producer, Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the House. My name is Dr. LennonSmith.com. No cap. Let's see that round butt. That round butt. Let's see that round butt. And by the way, if you don't have her number yet, that will be a problem. That round butt. Let's see that round butt.
The ultimate goal is going to be acquire as much
that round butt. They're going to be like, oh wow, if you don't have her number yet, that will be a problem. No cap. And then you strike that round butt. That round butt. You strike that round butt. If you don't strike that round butt, that will be a problem.
finally have the bravery and courage to go
strike that round, but yes, I believe so. So that person won that round, but we should have a caveat there. So that person won that round, but we should won that round, but we should that round, but that round, but that round, but. My name is Dr. LennonSmith.com, and this has been the Jock Podcast Patreon.
See ya.